channel. I know it's been a hot minute since I've 1, uploaded, and 2, made an anti-MLM genre type of video, but today there is something that we need to talk about, and let's just go ahead and get into it because there's a lot that needs to be said that hasn't been said already, and I just have a lot of opinions and thoughts about what is going on in the quote-unquote anti-MLM community. Now, if you don't know, there's a very popular I guess you would say, anti-MLM YouTuber who left the community, I'd say more like October, September, but it was a whole kerfuffle because the video that she came out with explaining why she was leaving was very in bad taste. And what I mean by that is that she, in the process of explaining how she felt like she had to go a specific route in making her anti-MLM videos, she also took the liberty of kind of belittling people who do not support MLMs, and it came off kind of weird because she is someone that came across as very well researched and someone who really likes to find all the facts and to evaluate the entire situation before she creates an opinion about it. And in that video where she explains why she's not anti-MLM, she kind of also explains that she felt like other popular anti-MLM creators kind of pressured her into making reaction videos, or which is neither here nor there. If she did feel pressure to make those videos, I mean, she is a grown woman, she is a grown person, and that is totally her decision on making those videos and uploading it. She could make whatever type of content that she wants, so that's neither here nor there. But it doesn't really seem like anyone encouraged her to quote-unquote belittle, be rude, and bully the people that she was making a video reacting to or making a video about, which those are her words, not mine. She claims, which we'll get into later on, but she claims that she kind of fell along those lines of being rude and belittling people that are in MLMs that she made videos about in the past, which pretty much all except for like 3 or 4 of her anti-MLM videos are deleted. So that's just like a brief summary that's leading us up until now. And something that I want to say, because I've been watching this creator probably sometime earlier last year when I started getting into all this anti-MLM stuff, and this is someone that I really thought had like a very good understanding about stuff like this, you know what I mean? I guess it kind of came off very odd, but I looked past it because it was far and few between until it wasn't. And what I'm referring to is this particular individual really likes to emphasize the fact that they went to law school, that they're very well read, that they had a corporate job and very high paying job and blah blah, all this stuff that would be deemed in society as someone that is very well educated, someone that is very smart, you know, in societal preferences and perspectives. I am someone where it doesn't really matter because there are so many different experiences that other people have that it doesn't really matter in a sense what your education is and stuff like that. If I experience something that this other person has never experienced, they will never be educated on what I experienced because only I have that experience. So I guess I'm very passionate about you can learn something from everyone. Everyone can learn something from everyone, you know what I mean? That's just a little, disclaimer, a little preference on that. So what exactly happened? Well, I might be late to the party. This is someone that I really looked up to and someone that I was a fan of. I would watch all of her videos no matter what, her live streams, which I don't really like watching live streams of certain things, but I would watch all of her live streams, I would watch all of her videos, I would like them, and I referenced her what is an MLM video, and I put it in my description on my very first anti-MLM videos, which I now took that out of the description. Yeah, this is something that kind of shocked me, but also not really, because the way she left the anti-MLM community, it kind of made it seem like she wanted to justify something in her own head and apply it to the mass in order for what she wants to do to seem okay. Does that make sense? Like, it was a total 180, especially since this creator was profiting off of this, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So this particular creator, who has made a bunch of anti-MLM videos, is now in Monat, which is something that's very yikes, I guess I would say, because Monat is one of the worst MLMs, in my opinion. As we continue, there are things with her that I agree with, and there are things with her that I do not agree with at all. Obviously, I do not agree with joining an MLM for financial gain at all, or just joining an MLM at all, which there are countless videos online about how, I don't even know, just how not good it is to join an MLM, how negatively it affects your financial income, your mental state, your morality, just stuff like that. So in this whole sense, so she made an Instagram post kind of explaining why she's joining Monat, and in a lot of her previous videos she explained that she has tried Monat. She has been trying Monat since April of 2020. She is someone that is very familiar with the Monat hair care products and whatever. When she first said that, she was still kind of making anti-MLM videos, and she said, I'm actually trying Monat, blah, 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 which I kind of thought she was doing that so that she can test the product and kind of give a review about it, because she was already doing content like that with Unique and Mary Kay and Beachbody and all that type of stuff. She was getting their products, and on her live stream she would test it out. She would test out the products on her live stream and talk about them and say what she didn't like about them, what she did like about them, yada yada. So that's what I kind of thought she was doing, why she was using Monat. But apparently a different route has concurred. So it kind of comes across that she wants to keep an open mind and look at all perspectives. That is something that she has preached about a lot, is that she wants to keep an open mind. And when she kind of left the anti-MLM community, she explained that she has a law degree, and that's something that they teach you in law school, is to be impartial and to be kind of neutral. She always references Lady Justice has her eyes, you know, blindfolded, so that she won't have any judgment on what is right and what is wrong. She goes into it blindly. And that's what she kind of references and kind of sees herself as a person. Now, the thing that's wrong with that is, I understand it 100%. This is something that I agree with, that, you know, going into something non-judgmental and taking away all your judgment and hatred or whatever, and going into something blindly to kind of come to your own conclusions. I love that. I love if people who are in MLMs or aren't in MLMs come to my video and get something out of it. So that is something that I totally agree with. But if she truly believes in that, then why would she join Monat at all? Because it's kind of, you know, two completely different scales and weights. She used to be totally not into MLMs at all, because she has a business or a law business degree or whatever, a law degree, and she knows the business sense of it, and she understands how people can be profiting off of it financially in a very negatively way to people's downlines. So she understands that sense here on the quote-unquote anti-MLM side of it. So if she was truly to be partial, she would just say, hey, I don't have any opinion about this at all. I'm stepping away from it. I'm just going to create my own content, which she did for a while, which is something else I want to talk about later on in the video. But she goes all the way over onto this other side and explains that, you know, maybe it's not so bad. There's so many other companies and so many other things that are just as bad, or blah, 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 which is an argument I would like to say this too. Sure, there are a lot of different brands and companies and products that are way worse than these MLM products. You know, way worse than these MLMs, way worse businesses, tactics, all that jazz. And that's a fact. Like, that is very true. No one's saying no about that. But the thing is that if you have that opinion about everything that is in the world, I guess, if you have that opinion about everything, then what exactly do you stand for? You're just kind of there. In my opinion, it's like that saying from Hamilton, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for everything. So that's just my opinion about it. I came into, you know, researching MLMs and stuff like that because I was totally impartial. I knew nothing about MLMs. I read all of the information about it. I came to my own conclusions and said, hey, this is not something I support. Like, this is not something that I'm about. I don't like it at all. And that was my own conclusion that I came to. And that's what I encourage everyone to do. If they did their own research and came to the conclusion that they support MLMs, that's on them, because I can't do anything to convince them otherwise. They read the facts. You can tell someone the facts all day about literally anything, but it's up to them to make the judgment on if they want to believe it, one, or if they want to support it or not and follow along with those beliefs. So it just kind of seems flip-floppy to say, one, I'm an anti-MLM and now I'm not. Now I'm neutral, but now I'm in an MLM. It's very confusing for the public to, I mean, for me, it's very confusing to take her seriously because now I just don't know, you know, what stance is she gonna have next, because that kind of goes into the content she was making when she wasn't anti-MLM, is that she kind of was going into more true crime type of content, and she stopped doing that. She did about 2 or 3 videos about it, and she stopped, and I'm pretty sure she deleted them, but I'm not too sure. She explained in another video that she kind of felt bad, and she kind of explained in one of her first true crime videos that she felt bad about talking about true crime because these are people's families. Like, they're actual people who deal with the hurt of losing their loved one because of like a murder case, or you know what I mean, a missing persons case and stuff like that. It's not just a fascinating story to us. This is actual people's lives. And I have to agree with her there. I mean, it feels definitely really weird to watch people kind of profit off of talking about stuff like that. It's very weird to me, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm kind of impartial because yes, it is interesting, but again, you have to look at the morality of it. So that's kind of how I approach MLMs too. Like, sure, it's something that you can do with your friends, something that you can promote products to people and sell and work from home, but you have to look at the morality of it too. Does that line up with your morals, and can you know, go to bed at night knowing what you're doing? And so that's what kind of happened when she kind of left the anti-MLM community, because she wasn't happy, and she explains that in her Why I'm Not Anti-MLM video. She explains that she is not happy with the way that she's been making content. So change it. Be an impartial person who looks at MLMs and goes through the facts and goes through the information provided so that you can just spew it out to the audience and they can just make their own substance, you know? You don't have to give your opinion about it if you're so wanting to be impartial, you know what I mean? Okay, so let's read her post. So this was posted a couple days ago, and it says, and if you've already seen a bunch of videos about this, you can go ahead and skip ahead right here, but if you don't mind, I'm gonna read it, the post that she made really fast. $6,541.86. That's how much money I made off of YouTube videos humiliating, hurting, judging, bullying, and belittling women and showcasing at Monat in a negative way, and that's how much money I intend on paying back. I wish I could simply write a check to Monat for that amount, but as they say, my money is all tied up. Worse yet, once I stopped creating that type of content, I had to start from the bottom again, so I can't afford it. Therefore, I decided I'll work it off being a market partner. Shocking. Oh, shocking? Most of you know I've been using Monat since April, and my close friends know it's all I use on my hair now. To my surprise, it actually works. I share what I love. This is my decision. Not even my closest friends and family know I'm doing this. I did not want anyone to influence me. Here are some reasons why, and I hope you'll follow me on this crazy journey because I'll be sharing my struggles and successes every step of the way, but I vow to put all I've learned and reprimanded into practice. If you're already upset, mad, wanting to rip my head off, please feel free to leave because I never want to be the reason your blood pressure is high. Which is something I want to kind of say is a little odd. It's like she said that because she knows she's gonna get backlash about it because it is such a controversial topic. And if it's something that she truly believes in, I wouldn't even put, if you're already upset, mad, wanting to rip my head off, please feel free to leave because this is something that we're gonna talk about later on. But she kind of discusses this very often where she tells, hey, this is who my videos are for, this is who they're not for. If you're gonna do this and blah blah, whatever. Number one, I've never worked an MLM business, yet I ran my mouth like an expert. In parentheses, eat my words. Number two, I have to try things myself and learn from my own experiences to know the truth. No matter how many times I hear other people's advice, it doesn't stick unless I do it. Obviously, a very terrible way to think because how far can that go? I don't have to try meth myself to learn from my experience of doing meth that I don't want to do it. That is not a sustainable way, and it's very shocking that she thinks this way, mostly because she is older and more mature and matured, I guess. So that is something that is kind of shocking and something that I do not agree with at all. You do not have to try things in order to know that it's bad for you. That's a terrible way of thinking, in my opinion. Number three, when I was in a dark moment a few months ago and people I thought were my friends turned against me, made hate videos about me, lied about me to weaken my influence, parentheses, that took me a decade to build, reached out to customers of mine and told them not to buy from my company, people in Monat who I'd actually hurt and never expected to be kind to me were there. And then she tags the people. I judge someone on the content of their character and not what business they are in. Everyone is different. Sarah never asked me to join her team or buy anything. She just listened. And even if she never calls me once, I see her as a friend. Which I think that's kind of a weird thing. They never talk, but they're still, wait, what? She just listened, and even if she never calls me one. So she doesn't even call you a friend? Okay. Anyways, Emilia, or I don't know who this is, told me not to quit educating on business, even though I made fun of her. She learned from me, so you can thank her. A very odd post, and you can kind of see that it's kind of falling into the line of typical MLMer speech. Even though I made fun of her. So these are your friends. You couldn't find anyone else to reference MLM videos, to reference in your anti-MLM videos. You had to pick your friends or people you knew personally. That's kind of weird. I've definitely done that before, twice, when I was doing a very specific video, and another one where I'm talking about my experiences, but that's about it. So she made a video talking about how she wants to pivot her, her channel and stop doing true crime stuff and talk more about businesses, which I thought was fine because she is in fact a business owner. So in this video on how to make money from home, 0 to 1,000 or something like that, this is again a live stream that she did, and I just want to play this clip really quick so you guys can kind of see what I'm going to be talking about next. So we're going to watch the clip and then I'll explain after. Okay, so during this live stream of going 0 to 1,000, how to make money, whatever, she was doing this live stream when the Capitol riots were going on in DC. So something very scary, something very, very serious was going on in the country, in America, when this was happening. And let's just watch this clip and see how she she reacts to it. She is very well spoken, but chooses the wrong words, I think is the best way I can describe it. But when I show you this clip, we'll talk about it after and you'll see what I'm referring to.
To do influencer marketing, I've been doing both and they really go hand in hand. So, yeah, I know what's happening on the news, but I can't change it and I'm here to help you. So if you are, saddened and affected by that, by all means, don't watch this video and spend your time there. I'm sorry. I don't know what you want me to do. You don't have to be here. I understand that. But this is going to be an evergreen video on my channel, and this is what I'm doing today, and I scheduled it, and I'm a woman of my word, so.
That was just a very small clip from this video. Something about the facial expression that she made when someone commented or someone said in the chat, hey, do you know what's going on in the Capitol right now? I mean, in the tone of voice, that sounds like belittling to me. There's such a difference from saying, yeah, I do know what's happening in the Capitol right now, to, yeah, I do know what's happening in the Capitol right now. Same exact sentence, but completely different tones. You see how much it's changed? You know what I mean? So that kind of, that made me offended. You know what I mean? I didn't even watch this video until today. I didn't even know about this video until today, so I was like, okay, that was kind of a weird thing to say. The way that she says that, I mean, she could have approached it completely differently. She has a very bad habit of using kind of like a sarcastic or like a deep tone or something in her voice, underlining in her voice, that kind of comes off as rude. The way you word things is very important, and she knows that because, and I know she knows that because one, she explains it in a different video, which we'll talk about later, and two, she always references how she's very well educated because she went to law school, she, has her own business, she has a business, not a business degree, she worked for corporate as a lawyer, a business lawyer, whatever, real estate lawyer, something like that. So I understand it is a live stream, so this is all happening live. This is my first take of this video. I'm not cutting it, redoing it, whatever. This is my first take. I think it's easy to kind of reword what you're thinking, especially when you're talking to an audience. She has obviously a way bigger audience than me. If that happened to me, I probably would have said, oh, yes, I know what's happening in the Capitol. If you guys are more focused on that and prefer that over my content, that's okay. Do you guys feel comfortable with me continuing with this live stream? Or do you want me to stop and I can finish the video and then just upload the replay? So there's a lot of different ways she could have approached it. It kind of seemed like she was telling the people who were interested in the stuff that's going on right now that they're only watching that stuff because they want to feel sad and they want to watch sad, depressing things. Okay, so if you're saddened and affected by that, then don't watch my video and spend your time there. What the heck is that supposed to mean? Yes, the events are sad and it affects a lot of people and it affects the public. It's that wording kind of implying that you're watching that stuff to be sad. Okay, so here's another clip from that same video that was also very odd, and we'll explain it a little bit after we watch it.
But with everything being unstable and not knowing what's going to happen, I really value my freedom to be able to sustain whatever lifestyle I desire and not answer to anyone and not have to rely on, okay, my boss said this, I can't get this day off. So who this video is not for and who my channel, quite frankly, is not for is people who judge others. People who judge others for their choices, people who judge others for the type of businesses they run, people who don't appreciate the value of social media and don't really want to excel in business and don't want to do that kind of business. People who talk down to themselves with negative self-talk or even talk negatively to other people. I don't want you here. I'm not going to slam the door on the way out. I'll gladly open the door and you can leave. But guess what? I also think, because I used to be that person, you could really benefit from self-development, and there are many ways that I can help you work on that. I've been through so much. I've been very negative. I've been very judgmental to other people. But number one, reading books. So I read several books a week, and if you're in that rut, you can change your perspective. You can change your perspective right now on all the things that might be, you might be struggling with. And I could probably help you in a lot of ways.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack in that video. Now, something that I agree with is judging other people and judging people in general is not something that should be valued and not something that people should do, period. You know what I mean? We should never judge people because everyone goes through their own shit. That is something that I agree with. There is a certain extent to critique, and it kind of seems like she is someone that is not open to critique, and any critique that comes her way is deemed as judging or judgmental. Now, something I will say is in the anti-MLM community, there are a lot of people that judge people that are in MLMs, and most of it I don't think is okay. Have I done that? Yes, and I'm not saying it's okay. Something that, which is why I kind of put a stop to, anti-MLM content. I don't particularly like doing that type of content anymore because it kind of comes off as judging, and I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be a person that judges other people. That is something that I agree with there. So then she kind of follows it up with this weird, if you're someone that talks negatively about yourself, if you have negative self-talk, I don't want you here. Like, that is such a weird statement in my opinion. Someone that's dealing with their own shit and may have their own insecurities or whatever can't watch your channels is how it's implied or how it comes across, because there are a lot of people that deal with negative self-talk. Pretty sure everyone on the face of the planet has dealt with negative self-talk. I don't know if she meant to word it like that or if that's meant to be a different meaning or something, but the way that comes across for me is that she says, oh, you have negative, if you talk negatively about yourself, I don't want you here. This is kind of like, the more she speaks, the more I'm starting to think, okay, I have heard this before, and I've heard this in a lot of people that are in MLMs. I've heard this a lot in distributors' posts on Instagram, and people that do not see the value in social media, people that don't want to excel in business. This is something that I see a lot in distributors and people that are in MLMs, like Instagram posts and stuff like that, because it kind of comes off as gaslighting. It's like, oh, if you don't want to join this business, it's because you don't want to excel in life. It's because you have negative self-talk. It's because you judge other people. People can kind of come to their own opinion about certain things, and people, even if they aren't old enough to come to their own opinion and kind of fully understand certain things, it kind of seems like she doesn't believe the people who were negatively affected by MLMs. And this kind of goes into what I was saying earlier with, yes, there are a lot of other business practices and products and companies and all that jazz who do far worse things. But one, can't we just take it step by step? And even if there are other businesses that are way more terrible than MLMs, there are still people in MLMs or people that are affected by MLMs. You know what I mean? That doesn't lessen their value because this other person also got hurt from this other random different business. Apples to oranges, you know what I mean? Everyone has value. She always tend to flip-flop between her content or between what she believes and stuff. Like, she was saying, oh, her content is always made to help people and for them to learn and like gain new perspective or for them to start thinking. But anytime she's caught in some sort of turmoil or backlash, I guess, she always seems to have to clarify just who her content is for, and it kind of like singles out people on their beliefs, or people who are against her beliefs, you know what I mean? It's like she only wants people who believe what she believes to watch her channel. Like, wouldn't you want anyone to watch your channel? Wouldn't you want someone who is, in her case, anti-MLM, to watch her videos and to say, hey, this is something that I agree with, blah, blah, maybe I should do this, whatever. In her circumstance, wouldn't she want someone to watch her video in that way? But she kind of makes a rude, I guess, judgment call by saying, if you're someone that judges, and then goes on to say, because I was like that, I used to judge people and like blah blah blah, and we all know she's talking about when she made anti-MLM content, because that's what she's referring to, and that's what she talked about earlier. So like when she first explained, when she was still doing anti-MLM stuff, that she is trying Monat, I thought that it was going to be kind of like a product thing. I didn't think that she was actually going to take it upon herself as an actual business venture. Yeah, I just think she's digging herself a deeper hole by kind of making a disclaimer about who her videos are for. Videos are on the freaking internet. They're for anyone. Anyone can freaking watch. Something that she also fails to include, which is something that is very big in the anti-MLM world or whatever, is the risk factor of joining an MLM, which is something that she is very well known about because she has done research and has the risk factor of MLMs, because it is actually proven, like, the risk factor is far worse than the gain factor. I don't know what the opposite of that would be, but you know what I mean? Like, there's so much more to lose than there is to gain. So, and you have, of course, income disclosure statements, which are always god-awful, and that never includes the money that people lost, mind you, so that's always fun. If she wants to see both sides of it, she's only talking positively about it, which she does have a video explaining all the things that MLMers do that are wrong, which was a pretty decent video. I watched it. It was pretty decent. She was talking about like cold messaging, the way you word things, how you include people, yada yada yada, Instagram posts and stuff like that. So nothing too crazy. But if she wants to be truly a neutral and kind of non-judgmental person, then she has to include the facts that people are negatively affected by companies like this, especially Monat, which people lose their hair. People are losing their hair out of, which she does mention that later on in the video. Part of me feels really bad for her because it seems like she's very negatively affected, or she's heavily affected from what people think about her, from what people are saying about her. She's always changing up her content, or she's either that or she just doesn't know what she wants to do. She's always at war with herself or trying to figure out what she wants to do. And she does mention that she is bipolar, and this part of me feels really bad for her because I want her to succeed, and this is someone that I really looked up to, and I want her to find something that she's really passionate about and something that she's really good at and thrive in it. It's not up to me to say this is bad, this is a bad way to thrive, you know what I mean? She made her own she did her own research, and she made her own judgment call and decided that this is something that she wants to endure. Something that she does own up to a lot in any time she talks about anti-MLM stuff. And like she said in that Instagram post, is that she kind of owns up to the fact that she did belittle people and that she was kind of harassing people, which is something that I was never comfortable watching on her channel, and something I don't really like watching about anti-MLM content at all. I just hate watching people react to it. I only like watching videos about specific companies or specific, you know, policies, situations, or stuff like that. Or people's personal experiences. I do not like watching people make cringy content, or, you know, just stuff like that, or react to cringy content, stuff like that. But now she's kind of like going along with the narrative that all people who don't support MLMs do bully and humiliate and harass people, which I kind of have to agree with her. Some of them do. Some kind of fall under that category. The only creator who's like nice enough to not do that, I think, is Deanna Mims. She's one of the nicest anti-MLM creators out there. She's really the only anti-MLM creator I like watching right now. It's kind of implied when she talks about the anti-MLM community by saying in that post, I'm gonna judge people based on their character, not the business they do, which people, just because you don't support MLMs doesn't mean you judge the person because of the type of business that they're in. This is something that we have to be impartial about, and that we shouldn't judge other people for because they are in an MLM or whatever. But do I think it is a reason to join an MLM? No. So I want to mention this comment that was on her most recent video about the do's and don'ts of MLMs and what you should do and what you shouldn't do and like all the wrong things, blah, blah, blah. So someone commented, "I'm so disappointed. Monat has ruined countless lives. I wonder what you would say to someone who has had their hair fall out of their scalp, burned from their products." Wait, what? Who had their hair fall out or scalp burned from their products. And she says, "I would say the same thing that my friend Chaz Dean said to a lot of the people whose hair fell out when he first launched his company, when filed a complaint and let it play out in a court of law," which is something very odd in my opinion that she kind of does a lot. She likes to reference and talk about the many different friends that she has that are kind of very public figures and very popular. Like the guy who started When, which I'm pretty sure that company's not good either. I'm pretty sure that company's also kind of weird and like not good and ethical, and their products are just conditioner, something like that. Yeah, she mentioned that she knows, and I was like, okay, so why haven't I heard Chaz Dean ever talk about you if you guys are friends? Like, just meeting someone once or a couple times, you know, doesn't make you guys friends, you know what I mean? Anyways, she did that with Mikey from Glam and Gore. She mentioned that video, "Oh, when I met Mikey, blah, 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 Glam and Gore." I don't know if you guys know her. That girl has like 10 million subscribers or something like that. Like, people know who she's talking about. So it's kind of like, oh, a subtle flex, but I literally don't care. Anyways, the cosmetic industry is not regulated by the FDA, so they rely on customer complaints individually. A lot of people are allergic to things, and that's why I always recommend doing a test strip on your hair. My mom is a cosmetologist, and she used to tell her clients all the time, "We need to test the perm solution and whatnot." Clients would be mad because they didn't want to wait. They were hasty, and if they had an allergic reaction with the test strand, we won't continue to do the treatment. I actually haven't heard anything about people losing their hair like they did back in 2015. So quite possibly they have resolved that issue by changing their chemical format, but I don't know that. Which, the shampoo shouldn't make your hair fall out anyways. Like, don't you test this shit before you put it out in production and put it out and distribute it to people? But that's just my own opinion. In life, you have to speak for yourself in your own experiences. It hasn't done that to me personally. I'm not going to take what happened to someone else and base everything on the experiences that someone else has had. For example, there was a doctor that had really bad reviews, and even my fiance told me not to go to him. Well, he changed my life. I'm sorry for all the individuals that I've had, that I think she meant that has had, for all the individuals that has had bad experiences. But there's also huge lawsuits going on right now with Tresemme. People's hair is falling out, which, again, no one is saying Tresemme is any better. This person, who knows if this person even uses Tresemme? Just because they're a big brand doesn't mean that they're better at creating a product. They're probably not very good at making a product either if it's making people's hair fall out. Stop using Tresemme too, you know what I mean? I'm sorry for those who have had bad experiences. So again, just a very weird response. It kind of, again, can fall into the victim blaming stance where people are, which I don't really have an opinion on that, but a lot of people were affected by her actions because she has made comments like saying, "I'm sorry for the people who have been hurt." That's very weird. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say about that. I have been rambling on for so long, but I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you did, again, please come to your own conclusions about this. I'm not here to change your mind about squat shit. You have your own beautiful, wonderful mind. This is the beauty of human nature and just nature in general. Everyone has their own mind and everyone can make their own opinions and judgments and whatever. With that being said, let's not judge other people and let's be safe out there and let's just try our best to be nice to everyone. So if you know who this person is, obviously do not try to find out who it is. It doesn't matter who it is. What matters is the context, and what matters is the situation, not the person or the business or whatever. Because I think there is a very big difference between judging people and critiquing people. And this is simply a critique. This is all my opinion. I'm not making any claims about anything. Just want to get that out there and make sure that is said and done. So I want to thank you guys again for coming on this journey, and if you have any ideas about any type of other videos you want to see, leave them down below. I'm kind of really into reaction type of videos or commentary for movies and stuff like that, because there are a lot of movies I have not seen yet, so I would love to do that. I know everyone's kind of doing that type of content now, but again, thank you for being here, and you're amazing and beautiful as always. Thanks for watching.